I'll try to be loud with you. I'll bring it up to that level. All right, guys, this is a little bit different this week. I know you're used to seeing Jason sitting here, but we got our friend Victor, and I thought it was a perfect opportunity for me to sit down, and not that Jason couldn't talk about media, but that's kind of our thing, right? So we thought this would be a good opportunity to sit down and talk with Victor. None of this was planned. He just kind of came through today, right?
Surprise attack, huh?
Yeah, no, but it's the best way. Like, we're going to get a good, authentic conversation here.
Sure.
So really looking forward to it. We've been talking off camera, but again, stoked to have you here. What do you think of the new shop? Your second time around now, yeah?
I think that the shop is amazing, man. Leaps and bounds to what I saw the last time. And just even the setup you got in here, man, with these podcasts. Like, this is just truly amazing.
Oh, appreciate it. It's come a long way for sure since you were last here. And like we were talking, I love that now we have this space, you know, for people when they come through to sit down in this chair, or even if it's off camera, like just the environment that we've created. It's so cool to see the vision that Jason and Brad have spoken, like, coming together. And I'm glad I get to play a little role in that here in this, you know, that we can give this opportunity to people to sit down. So stoked to have you, man.
Little role. I think you play a huge role, man.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll take that. But we all play a little
I
piece.
agree.
So rad. Well, man, I really want to highlight you and the things you're doing, you know, as the men behind the camera. Usually, you know, this is different for us, but I love seeing what you've done. You know, this isn't my world. We talked about that. The media stuff is my world, and to see what you've brought to the table in this no prep scene, this racing scene, like your growth just in the last time. Like, I don't want to put it on us. I've seen your growth since the last time you were here visiting. You're all over the place covering these events, and man, I respect your grind and what you're doing. So I really want to highlight you and give people a face, well, for both of us, a face to the men behind the camera today.
Right.
So how's it been? Like, how'd you get into the racing and then bringing the media to racing? Were they always, did you always do media, or did you always do racing and put them together, or how'd that come about?
Well, I was doing some racing back at our local track back in Florida.
Okay.
And, you know, I like the recording aspect of it. I don't have very fancy equipment or anything like that. I just had my cell phone, and I would go out there, and when I would capture a race, I would try to upload it up on YouTube. And, you know, it was like a hit or miss with the different videos, different personalities that I was filming and so forth. And it all started at Dig or Die. I decided to grab a plane ticket and see what the world was doing. Right. No prep scene is hot right now. I think it's the hottest thing going.
Definitely.
As far as racing, it equivalents a lot to what street racers would race on, especially on the backside. So I wanted to be part of something special. So I went out to Dig or Die, and I was there getting ready to do some B-roll footage and film a couple races. And I noticed that there was a void. I said, you know, all this is going on. I don't see anybody live.Maybe there was another company live at that point in time. My buddy Robert, Pennywise Racing, was there. At that time, we didn't even know each other. So I'm like this new guy showing up out of the blue, right? Nobody knows who I am. I got, you know, my G2K shirt on. It says subscribe on it. I'm fitting the part. I look the part, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I wasn't even on the media list. Like, I just showed up there, and Eric Hunt, I asked him a question. I didn't even know he was actually the guy running the show, which now we're good friends.
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, hey, you know, I see that it says media here, and I'm there with my little camera. And I got a GoPro on my hat. So it's kind of like I'm fitting the part, basically. And I asked him, I said, hey, man, do you mind if I just go in this little media section? He says, yeah, sure, you know. I said, I went in there, and as I'm watching, I said, you know what? I've never gone live on YouTube. Let me try it and see what happens. Maybe get some people to come and watch and so forth. I've been live at my local track before. Maybe, you know, 15, 20 guys on it. Usually the people at the track that want to watch their family members. So I said, let me try this here and see what happens. So I went live, and boom, history.
Yeah.
Like 1,000 people on the live chat.
Wow.
You know, and
First rip.
I see the number climbing, right?
Yeah.
My son comes over to me and says, hey, Dad, you know, because we're watching your live stream from the car. You know, I travel, my wife, and my little son. He's 11 years old. His name is Gabriel. We were there, and they're like, man, we're seeing your live stream, and you got about 1,000 people in there. And I'm like, I didn't even know like there was a counter or nothing like that. I'm just focused on the race, and I'm announcing too. So I'm basically hey, you guys have left or right. So when I see these people, like everybody that's on there, they start replying to my announcing.
I got you.
They're like, man, finally somebody who talks and actually engages with us. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, man, like we've had other people put live streams on, but you're actually talking and engaging. And imagine with me that I like to talk. I mean, I'll talk for hours. I just, man, you guys got left, you guys got right, this car, that car. They loved it. And man, like the rest is history. Once we got back in the car and went back to the hotel, and I told my wife, I said, we got to go every weekend somewhere. And that's what we've been doing.
Board. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, she said, let's go.
What a cool story. Like, man, I listened to a thing recently, like what you said, like that there was a void. And right off the rip, I want to commend you on, like, you know, you saying you didn't have all the fancy, man, you made with what you had, like, you just went for it. And that's what sets a lot of people back in life, you know, whether it's racing, media, like, you know, they think they need the next, they need the best car, the biggest motor before they can go out, the best, most expensive camera before they can start capturing. Like, hats off to you for just going and doing it, and, you know, what that's created now for you. Like, if you would have never just gone out and done that, you know, like, crazy to think how different, you know, life would have been. So hats off to you for doing that right off the rip, and just for noticing that there was a void in this, right? Like, I've spent the last 2 years, you know, when Jason and I have been friends for a long time because of the skate world, BMX world. So when he brought me into this, like, when he asked me, like, you know, would you ever want to do media? I went to a race out in Norwalk to kind of just get a vibe of it. But I remember him giving me a list of like 5 or 6 channels. He's like, you know, these are kind of the people in the space that are doing it that I really like to watch their stuff. So early on, you know, of course, the Street Race channel, Nicky Bobby, like those people, it was really cool to see their stuff and see then other people, like, see how differently they were doing it. Yeah. But also still realizing there was a void in things like, I never even considered the live thing. So it's rad that you saw that was a missing element. You know, there were already these established channels, right? And maybe there were, like you said, people doing live, but you brought that. I heard a cool thing, like doing things different, like even if it's just 3% different, you know, commentating on the live, that goes a long way. You know, people recognize that. And now that set you apart, you know, from when you go do your live stuff. You're not like the next person that's doing it. So it's rad that you noticed that, you put that out there without even, that wasn't even your plan. You're a talker, like you said, and it's worked out awesome for you, man. I enjoyed you. Jason, you know, we were just at No Prep Kings Dragway 42 over the weekend. And I caught myself, I was watching your live. Again, I'm not a racer. This stuff doesn't do anything. But I enjoyed watching your live because you're commentating and just the vibe that was War in the Woods. I was like, oh, this is pure entertainment, and you're there capturing it, man. Like, that's important. That's a huge thing. People need it, you know. That can't go to it, and you're filling that void. And they don't have to wait for a me or Gen 2 or, you know, anybody to you're giving it to them right on the rip. And you say it on the phone, but it looked really good. It sounded really good, you know, man. So hats off to you for what you're doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like, one of the biggest things that drives the live stream is the people.
Yeah, of course.
Right, the chat. Yeah. I try to emphasize on the like and the subscribe, obviously, for YouTube and stuff like that, but it's the chat that makes it. Like I always say, I'm just a cameraman behind it. Yeah. And I'm announcing, but that chat is always pumping.
But you're bringing that to the people, you know? Like, yeah, it almost reminded me of being like, I know there's probably a little bit of an age gap in between us, but not much. But it was like an AOL chat room. Like, I was like, damn, people are like, you know, people talking shit. Like, and it just gets it going. Like, it was full. Yeah. Jason called me out. He's like, look at you watching War in the Woods. Like, it was entertaining. Like, just, it was cool seeing the people run. But I was like, man, I'm here for the entertainment. Like, the things people are saying that.
Yeah, they're going at it. Like, you know, some people see numbers. I see individuals and persons and families and stuff like that. So as we are chatting it all up, you know, we've adapted this culture like the G2K Army. So it's basically like a family. Yeah, for sure. You know, because the way I, you know, tell all the subscribers and my audience and my moderators and everybody, it's like, I got this big bus, right? Yeah. And I'm taking y'all with me.
That's right.
So you guys are here with me. I'm experiencing, and we've had, you know, like gentlemen who are in wheelchairs, people who are bedridden. I have had guys, I'm in my hospital bed and I'm watching you on my phone.
Yep.
You know, thank you. A countless amount of thanks for it. And so you really don't see who's behind it. You just see a number. But that's 1,000 individuals that you have with you. That's a pretty big crowd.
Isn't that
to
crazy
hang out,
to think,
right?
man? Like this media stuff that you know, this path that we've chosen to go down. I think of people as individuals, but like as that grows, like, isn't that just crazy to think that those are two eyes, maybe one eye, looking at on the other side of the screen? Like each person is an individual, and you are providing them, whether it be entertainment or that you're filling something for them that they weren't able to make it for whatever reason. Like, it's that I've never looked at it like that. That we are giving people something that you know, that I'm not the best at articulating, but that's kind of heavy, actually.
Yeah,
that's a lot of pressure almost.
There's a lot on your shoulders. I believe that with YouTube, when you bring value to the equation, people have a positive response.
For sure.
So they see me putting in the miles, and I'm doing it because, like I've always tell them, I say, guys, I'm already here. Yeah. So why not bring you guys along? But to get the comments and get, you know, just the feedback, you know, that makes it for me, man. Like it keeps me on my feet. I've been live streaming maybe, and they all know it, you know, 10, 15, 20 hours. Like I don't stop, you know, I try to stay on. I try to give them every race as, you know, as best as I can. But man, the audience is what really keeps me going. Like I said, you're only as good as your fans, because that's who's really supporting you. That's who's backing you up. I mean, you don't have a fan base, that it's hard to develop it. And to see all these people that come to me at the events too and just shake my hand and say, you know how much, you know, money you saved me, or you know, by not, I couldn't make it, or I was working. Yeah. And then you got the other positive also, that I've had a lot of people say, I didn't know that track was that cool. Yeah. And now they're going to these tracks. So I try to tell,
seeing your, like that, you're the end for them, which is crucial for the growth and the just the longevity of this sport of no prep. Like again, we are that foot in the door for people. A lot of people, you know, there'll be people in the comments, you know, my worldview of no prep, it's kind of small. So when I reference, you know, a you or a Bill or Billy, like, or Jimmy Dale or Nicky Bobby, I know there are a lot of other people killing it. But again, my worldview of no prep is kind of small. It's growing. But we are that foot in the door for some people. Like, and that is important, that we can give this to them, to introduce it to new people. The amount of people that commented on our Billy podcast, or our podcast with Billy, saying, you know, I don't even race, or I'm not a big racer, but I watch it. Like, dude, that's another fan, like, to support and to be at the track, like growing this community. And that's a beautiful thing, man. It's awesome to see. I always compare things to, you know, the skateboarding world is what I come from. And there's a lot of similarities in this world. There's a lot of differences, but that community is so rad to see. So, of course, you know, never forgetting, you know, I'm super stoked and thankful for every person that supports us. But I almost had a cheat code, right? Like, Jason and Brad and Jay and the people before, Jordan, like, they built a business, a reputable business. You're starting from the ground up. Like, so again, hats off to you for what you're doing, man. I respect the grind, like seeing you out and all the places that you go. Like, I mean, you don't miss, you know, and it's not about money, as you like, but it's going to pay off for you in life. Like, you know, like that hard work, anybody that does it in anything that they do. And Jason's good at speaking to this. Like, you know, you will see the outcome that you want, or even if it's not a vision that you're going for, but it will pay off because you're a genuine person and you put in the work regardless. And it's rad to see, man. Yeah. So awesome. Yep. So thank you. Yeah, it's I guess I should. I'm not the best host. I guess I should have started. I said our friend Victor, but you've mentioned it. So you are G2K on YouTube. For anybody that has seen a live video, this has been the guy behind the camera. So what is it that, like, you know, we've touched on it, but it's the people. Like, what is it that keeps you going? You know, the highs of this thing, like. to just keep that drive alive, right? Like what is it when you go from here, you go back to, you're based in South Florida, South Florida. What's your turnaround? Like you go right back out when you...
As soon as well, right now we acquired an RV, which thanks to
big.
The channel, a lot of supporter, we got a bunch of donations and stuff like that, and we had something set up for it. But I came in with that mindset that I wanted to provide this service for everyone who couldn't be there, and I love no prep. And like I was saying earlier, I want to be at these events. I want to race at these events, which we got a couple cars there that we're lining up.
Oh, sick.
But, on a normal G2K week, I'll go back and I'll work from, usually if I fly out, it'll be on a Friday to get to the event, and then I'll fly back out on a Monday. And then I'm working from a regular job from Monday through Thursday, and then I'm back out again. So we had the RV. We went out 34 days with the family because I wanted to, my wife and my kids travel with me, other when my kid is going to school then obviously. But we went, on a 34-day road trip. So we got to enjoy during the week, sightseeing.
Beautiful.
And then racing on the weekends. So it's, my wife wanted to travel the world. I wanted to film racing. So it went hand in hand. So, we go back and I'm always on the go. Right now I'm planning our next trip to Yellow Belly.
Okay.
So, once I get back there, this provides an avenue from my regular business where I could disconnect and be free.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest drives also myself. When I'm there, I'm just disconnected. I'm free. I have this huge family that I'm there talking to, and I almost feel connected to, and when they see me at the racetrack and they come and give me a hug and, they thank me for stuff, and I feel that connection. I'll give you a perfect example. One time I was hungry.
Yeah.
This was back at Battle at the Beach event hosted by my buddy Clifton. We were there. Like I said, every event we go to, I make sure I contact the promoter.
Yeah.
I just don't show up. I contact the promoter before I travel, before anything, and I make myself available. If they need me to help out in any kind of way, I'm going to do so. Any kind of footage they need, I'm going to give it. So... back to that, I was there at Battle at the Beach and I was hungry. My wife was back at the hotel with my kid, and I said, I'm starving. I said, guys, if there's anybody here on this live stream that's here in this event, I would love nothing more than a cheeseburger and some fries and maybe a Mountain Dew. I love Mountain Dew. So I was like, if somebody's out there listening to me, right, that'll be it. So I paid no mind to it. 30 minutes later, I got a guy standing in front of me with this little styrofoam box, a food box. And I'm like, can I help you? And he's like, opens it up, and ta-da, there's the burger, there's the fries, and in his pocket a Mountain Dew.
Man.
He's like, dude, I was at this event, obviously at the event, He's like, but I'm looking at your live because I don't want to miss any race.
Yeah.
And I got a line of 30 people in front.
Wow.
So I know I'm going to miss something.
Yeah.
But I was watching you. So as I'm watching you, I hear your cry for help, and I'm like, I'm here. Why not be that guy? So, man, shout outs to you, brother. He brought the food, and
that's
the rest
awesome,
was history, man. And I'll grab it and I'll eat it in front of the audience and everybody. It's just like a big family, and it's almost like that encouragement, man. That encouragement is so vital at moments that 100%. When you need it, that just makes my world.
That's an awesome story. It's cool that I sit behind the camera, and people that have sat in your chair, they all have the same story. This community of people is so genuine. By the time this drops, we will have already dropped our episode with Barrett from Big Hat Mafia, and he had that story. Yeah. Billy had that story. Jimmy Dale had the story. When people are down and out in this scene, they don't care what, they're gonna get to you to help. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's what really to go back, because I think maybe Jason has kind of talked about it a little bit, but for me coming into this world, when Jason first reached out, I was taking my summer off. I had just left a gig, and he was like, he said years ago that he would want to bring me on, and when he put it in my ear 2 years ago, they were racing the orange car that you saw out there, Bad Penny, and they were still doing some NHRA stuff. Because they had obligations of filming something. So I went out to this track in Norwalk, and, cars not being my thing. I don't care how fast something goes from point A to point B. It's impressive, I guess, but...
Sounds like my kids. My kids are that way.
It's just not my thing. So I went there, and that that feeling, that vibe of the no prep world, it wasn't there at NHRA. And this is no disrespect to anybody that does that. It just was, it was a lull. It was dead, you know, to me, I felt. And I told him, I was like, man, I don't know if I could do this. And then they kind of told me their plan with Charlie Brown. And I went to I'm blanking on the event, but it's down in Georgia, Lights Out or one of those following. And
South Georgia Motorsport,
yeah,
Lights Out.
And it was like people on the starting line betting, like, and just like, it reminded me of like being at a skate spot with all the homies rolling up, and like, it was just a good,
like grassroots. It's very,
just the environment. Like, I was like, all right, I could get down with this. Like, this is cool. And what keeps me in, not keeps me in it, like, I'm on board for life with these guys, but what makes it exciting, still, the cars do nothing for me, but the community, the scene of it, like, it's so rad to see every single time we go to the track. Like, whether it's people coming up, you know, thanking us for what we do, with Jason for the motivational Mondays, or for a part that they helped them or like over the phone install, like the appreciation that people have in this scene, and the love that people have for people around it. It's a rad thing to see. So it's rad that you now have made that, like, you brought the family into it and now get to do this, you know. It's awesome thing.
Yeah, it's
such a cool thing.
It's amazing, man. I'm blessed every day to be doing it. You know, I read a shirt the other day that a guy says, I'm living the dream, and then it had the word dream scratched out and it said nightmare. Oh, because you notice we use that slogan, but I'm truly living that dream right now.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it's encouraging, and I think that I get a little bit of like amnesia. I want to say, like, people be like, man, how were you out there for so long and filmed this and did that? But then the next day I'll be like restored, you know? Yeah. So I almost feel like God has given me this supernatural strength to just keep pushing and going. And I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on in that area. And if I just pay attention to it, I'll see certain things that, you know, maybe the regular person's not seeing it. So like I said, all the comments, the audience, the support, to me, it's amazing, man. And to be able to meet guys like that, like Billy the Kid, I mean, I watched him always on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to shake hands with him and talk to him on a personal level. You know, Jimmy Dale, everybody who's in this scene, like, I feel like I've had a connection with all the interviews I've done.
Yeah.
I think it's opened up to, like, you know, this is genuine, and my heart is in the right place. That's how I always try to tell people. I wear it on my sleeve, and what you see is what you get.
No, it comes across, man, and it's true love. Like what you just said, like, you wake up the next morning, like, revitalized, ready to go. That's true love for this. Like, you don't get that if you don't enjoy what you're doing, and it's such a cliche, like, cheesy saying, but like, when you love, it's work. Like, I know, you know, this shit, like, when you shoot for a 10-12 hour day and then you're dumping footage, like, I know the work that goes. So for you to turn around and do it again the next day for a 2-day event, or there's another one across, like, man, that shit is like, I see it, like, and again, it's full respect and hats off to you for what you do. And again, it's a beautiful thing that you're creating, and I love hearing that, you know, you know, from the support of the people that people see it, they notice that, you know,
real recognizes real is what I've always said.
100%.
You know? And I think that the community at first was very hesitant to open doors to me, and not just promoters and stuff like that, but I felt like, you know, like, who's this guy? Yeah, he's another guy here with a YouTube channel, and, you know, what is he really about? Yeah. And I think that after the miles started being pouring in and people saw the genuineness of it, and I began to talk to everybody, I think it opened up all those other doors. And, you know, now to go to these events and be on the media list, like, to me, that's huge.
I know, like, that is huge. Again, with that first event that you went to, you like you said, you're a guy with the phone.
I was just a regular dude. Yeah. Like, I still am. I'm just a regular dude with a camera that likes to go racing and film racing. It was one of those feelings where my wife looked at me in the car and she says, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to go do some interviews." She's like, "But you don't even, like, know people here." I'm like, "I'm just going to get off the car and walk." And I remember, you know, going up to, you know, one of my first interviews, Big Screen Racing, which like I said, you don't forget that. And they were like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" And I said, "Hey, you mind if I take some pictures of your car and ask you a couple questions?" "Yeah, sure." And from there, it just became an addiction to just, I wanted to put a face behind every car. Yeah. I didn't want it to just be, the guy with the Mustang or the guy with the, you know, with the other car, Nova. And no, hats out to Mustang. I mean, Mustang's a good platform, and and everybody has one. So, I mean, and they're good cars. But, you know, I wanted to put a face behind it in a story.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what drove that person to do what they were doing.
Absolutely.
What kind of program they had on, you know. So like that, there would be like a more intimate connection.
For sure.
And that drove me to just go and interview everybody that I could. I mean,
no, that's awesome.
Every event I go to, I try to get, you know, a bunch of interviews, and everybody's open to it.
Yeah.
I've never had somebody tell me, no, don't interview the car, or don't interview the car. Don't interview myself, or don't take pictures of my car. Like, everybody's open. So to me, that just, it just continues to solidify in me that I'm doing what I need to be doing.
Yeah, you're doing all the right things.
Yeah, some people were called to do things, and other people put themselves in that position. I think when you have a calling, I think that those doors will begin to open up, and God would align you to that purpose. So I've had a hell of a feedback. All these guys are like, man, whenever you're in my town, if you want to stay. I mean, you yourself, you said, hey, whenever you come down, we didn't even know each other like that. You said, hey, if you're down here and you need a spot to crash, you know, come to my house. You know, that's what it's about. I say that the handshakes are worth more than any view, than any, you know, like anything. Like, to me, you know, meeting these guys and having that one-on-one level, it's man, it's surreal.
Yeah, no, and you do, again, hats off to you, man. You do awesome. Like, you're making me want to do, I feel like I'm not doing enough. You know, I go to the racetrack, again, I got a cheat code. I have this, you know, this beautiful thing that Brad and Jason have built up, and I know I play a part in it now, but I need to get hustling like you do when I'm at the track. Like, we've talked about your live stuff, but your interviews have been great. Like, and I love that's kind of what I want to do here with these podcasts as well. Like, is put a face to not just the drivers, but the people behind the camera sharing these things, or the people building the motors, the people that you maybe don't even think of or wouldn't even know. So you doing that at the racetrack, like, you know, this isn't just Raggedy Ann, or, you know, I don't.
Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, I got a CJ Buckner interview that I haven't. It's down the pipeline already. So speaking of Raggedy Ann, that's another sign that, you know, hey, it's time to let it go. So
I put out a poll or a question on our community tab on YouTube, and he was a highly requested person. So CJ, if you watch this,
CJ's a great guy. CJ, you got to sit down in this hot seat. He's
I look forward to
solid dudes, bro. Solid dudes.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing your interview with him. Funny enough, and it's something I want to talk with him. You know, Jason will be the one that does that one because that's car related. But funny connection, and this is kind of a side thing, but I'm pretty sure him and I have a funny connection. One of the first races that I went to with them, I forget what track it even was. It was so early on. They were all the same to me at that point. But CJ, I don't know if it's a brother or some relation, but this kid that I went to school with when I lived up in Dayton, Ohio, Lloyd Shannon, came up to me at that track. I hadn't seen him since 4th or 5th grade, and I'm pretty sure that was CJ's brother or some kind of family. So I want to.
That's dope. I'm saying that's another.
The world's so small. In this
that's
community
another
of
sign to like lead you in that path. And like I said, with the interviews, it was just filling in a void.
Yeah.
Even with now, I put a little bit of long content out there. I listen to the audience. So the audience in the live streams, I was getting a lot of people telling me, well, I missed the live stream. And, you know, I know people work and they have a lot of like stuff on their mind. So I said, well, let me make these little condensed, 10 to 15 minute highlight videos of the race, you know, not missing any race, but giving them like a condensed version. So that opened up to another avenue where now people are like, okay, I can't be 10 hours on the live, but I could go back and watch your 15-minute video.
Yeah.
And again, filling in just this void where I listen. You know, one big thing, and everybody who does YouTube and is filming cars and racing, please take the time to, as soon as that pass goes by, write who won. I think that was one of the things where I started putting this little green check mark. Yeah. And the comments came in crazy. Like, thank you for identifying it, because we don't know who wins unless somebody announces it on the video. Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes even if you announce it with commentating, some people are at work, working their third shift job on mute, you know, like they're just watching. So no, again, filling these voids 3% different. If it's just a little bit different of the next person's live, like those things make the biggest difference. So again, it's rad that you've seen these and you've listened to the people that have supported you. You know, that's so important. That was going to be a question I had. So after the live, you do chop up and you put out.
So my setup, like I said, one thing I learned from a guy named Sean Fensler, Bumper Wilson, on one of my interviews, he said, you don't go faster by holding anyone down, right?
No.
So. anybody who sees my setup, you know, I'm like a cell phone media basically. I have my cell phone on a live, and then I have my camcorder right under it.
Yeah.
So with my camcorder, I'm recording every race and you know, recording it as it goes.
Yeah.
While the live stream is playing on the phone, and I'll make a little condensed version of a 10, 15-minute clip.
Yeah.
First round, second round, finals, everything, and then I'll drop that as well. So it's like a double whammy. Like I'm catering to the live stream community, I'm catering to the long form community, and I'm dropping shorts every once in a while, plus the interviews.
I'm not doing enough, man. I'm just not doing enough. You're killing it. I love that. That's rad.
I just think that when I get there, I always say this to myself: I might never get the ability to be at this track again. Or something happens, I might never come out here. Like, who knows? You know, life changes in the blink of an eye for people. And I think the older we get, the more you see how life is short for real. So I just, when I'm there, I try to make the best of that situation.
Maximize that
given
time.
it. Yeah, so if I'm there 12 hours, I'm going to give it 100% my 12 hours. People have seen me like on 1 foot. People have seen me stand on a barrel for 15 hours on a live stream just to get a better vantage point. And that's the dedication that I believe it takes, and it's, you know, you gotta like just want it. And if you want something bad enough, man, you'll choose it. I always tell people, if you go to this house, right, and somebody were to tell you there's $1 million somewhere in this house,
you're gonna find that.
Are you gonna like go in there and just look a little bit and then I give up and gone, and maybe after 2? No, you're gonna stay there, even if it takes you a year to find it. It might be behind the walls, it might be under the ground. You're not gonna stop until you achieve it. And that's where that drive comes into. Like, that's what drives me. Like, I said, you know what, I'm set out to do this, give people the best live stream possible.
Yeah.
Right now we've acquired a gentleman by the name of Scotty Strode, which he's starting his little channel, and you know, and I help him in any which way he can. And he just held the fort for me now down back in August, where I had to go back and take care of some stuff at home. And he took over the live, man, and people were like,
"That's awesome,
dude! Like, how did you find this guy?" And I'm like, I prayed. I said, you know what, God, like, I need somebody to help me, and he did, and he stepped up. And for the month of August, man, he was running these lives, and it was just like me, you know, like I felt was great. So I was now in the live chat.
You get to be a viewer on your G2K.
I was running the live chat, and he was enjoying it. So shout outs to Scotty Strode when he's watching this, man. He's
it's awesome when things
awesome
like that
dude.
fall into place, like those pieces. And I think, you know, that speaks to your dedication to this, that people are recognizing that someone like him would want to come and be a part of it, you know, because you put in that work. So that's a beautiful thing. That's so rad. Yep. So I don't want to get too nerdy or techie on this, because I know that's not really but the live stuff is something I feel like I need to explore, at least for our event, Cincy Street Night stuff. You know, I have heard the audience they would like a live stream of Cincy Street Night. But again, you're an awesome reminder and a perfect example of, you know, you don't need everything. I've talked with Happy and a few other people. You know, do you have one of those boxes where you put your SIM card in and it connects to all different?
Two of them.
You have so you do
never used it.
Really? Damn. So you don't need one of those.
I'm very, like I said, like, I travel light because I'm trying to run and gun in and out. Everybody's always asking me, well, put a finish line camera. And like, I try to, you know, like,
I saw you tried that out.
We tried that out and the camera got taken out.
Awesome clip though.
The YOLO box is good. It basically, you could have multiple cameras.
Yeah.
And then you just add a wireless transmitter from camera to camera, and you could have finish line, starting line. So definitely that was in the, how could I say, that was on my plate to do so. I just really never got around to it. And there's a lot of other streamers that have that ability. So I feel like I've carved my niche here.
Yeah.
And that's what I stick to, my guns.
Yeah.
I enjoy the fact that, you know, when people tell me, well, why don't you have a finish line camera? Well, because I like to talk to you.
Yeah.
Maybe if I had the finish line camera.
But you're getting this.
Maybe if I had the finish line camera, I become, I don't know, complacent, and I would just hit the button and that's it, and leave it at that, you know. Obviously giving the viewer, and that's where I try to tell them, guys, you know, within the next 24 hours, I'm going to have a full content video for you guys that you're going to be able to see, enjoy, zoomed in, and all that good stuff. But right now, guys, we're having a party. This is the chat. This is what's happening. We're bound by the wireless signal. People have told me, get a Starlink. We have all cell carriers, but sometimes the Starlink is necessary. But I just haven't justified it. When I fly, I can't carry around, you know, that big unit. So I'm very mobile, and I'm always trying to, you know, see what's the simplest thing. What I use, if I wanted to do the multiple camera angles and not carry a YOLO box, there's also a program called Switcher Studio for the iPhone.
Okay.
Which is a YOLO box basically on your phone.
Yeah.
So you have all the
interesting.
Yeah, you have all the gadgets and everything needed, from the overlays to the logos to all of that. So that's a service that I pay monthly. And as of late, I've been using it again. Sometimes when it crashes, I don't want to use it, but I'm just thinking, storm comes in, right? I got my backpack and my monopod with my phone and my camera, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm under something. Sometimes I carry an umbrella too.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason, I try to travel light, but perfect world. I mean, No Prep Felons is, one of my good friends, Bob Rice. He's got 3 cameras set up, and his lives are banging. Like everything, the way he sets it up, and it's awesome. He's got the YOLO box with 3 cameras set up, and it's professional. I mean, I one day would love to be at that level to do so, but as of right now, I got this other niche that I'm doing, and I always say, Bob is filling that other void. So. If we're out there sharing, there's no need for everybody to have everything,
No, and that's another thing in this scene. Like it's, there's room enough for all of us to eat, right?
Of course.
In media and racing, in life, all these things apply really across the board if you look at it. But you're maximizing what you have. Like it's top, again, compliment, hats off. When I was watching your War in the Woods, like the overlays on that,
that was Switcher Studio.
That's those little things. Like I'm like, man, this is polished. You know, whether it's on a phone or not, like you make it look the best. And you say your boy, he has the multiple views, and you're good with him. Like that's his,
man, he's solid.
But like you said, if you were doing that, you may be too consumed with like focusing on these 3 cameras to really give your all on that commentating, and that's what people have gravitated towards you for. So it's like it all works out the way it's supposed to, and what you're doing is an awesome thing.
Yeah, I think we all have like a restaurant, basically, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got their food. Maybe somebody's a pizza parlor.
Everyone has their preference.
Somebody's got maybe a McDonald's. Somebody's probably an Applebee's or a Chili's or whatever the case may be. So everybody's got their flavor.
For sure.
When I look at YouTube, I look at everybody.
Yeah.
I want to see what everybody's doing, and I'm encouraged by all of that stuff because I want, for people to go to that live and the other live, and just let's all be a big community, because we're all here doing the same thing. If I, per se, if my service goes out and somebody else has it, glory to God. Like, go over there. Like I've been to places where we've had another streamer happy, and one of the lives had better service. I couldn't have service. I filmed an event video, but I went over there and I told him, man, follow Happy, you guys, and just check this out.
No, that's awesome, man.
I think that, there's nobody first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're all in this big group, this big audience, and we're like in a building. Imagine the Empire State Building, right? How many floors it's got?
Yeah.
Some of us may be at other floors, but we're in that building together.
All together.
That building could be called No Prep. It could be called Drag Racing. You could call it whatever you want to call it, but we're all in there together.
I call it
what
life.
I'm saying? Life, exactly. So when you're able to do that community and the community come together, man, you really see that there is no such thing as a competitor, a competition. Like you're there to have fun. With No Prep, you're racing the track. Yeah. Right? You're not looking, maybe the guy has a faster, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter that moment. You're racing the track. So, and if your program, you want to step it up, then you do so. And it's the same with media. Like we all have that same platform. Plenty of photographers out there, badass ones that are, yes. So when we're all there and we all get to unite, imagine if the community were really to come together. You know what I'm saying? And be just under one umbrella, it'd be huge. Yeah. My desire, and whoever's listening to this and wants to go live and do the same would be great. I would want to be just in the pits. Have somebody running the live where they could send it to me in the pits, and I could be there talking to the drivers. Hey, man, how was that pass? Hey, guys, how'd you feel about that? Send it back to you, Yeah. And one thing that I was talking to different media guys was, eventually one day to have like a podium, right? Where we're announcing like a football game, and you got the glass right there set up, and you're, hey guys, and shoot that thing, and man, and everybody's such a vital point, from the cameras to the fans to the people working these events, man. It's so much love.
100%.
I know that if right now I were to go to my live stream and say, guys, I'm here in North Carolina, I need a place to park my RV. I've had people.
Someone's gonna take care.
I've had people tell me, just bring it on my way, man. Leave it here. I'll hook you up. Whatever you want to stay inside. Yeah. That is dope. So I tell people, now I have thousands of friends, right? and they're all in these different states. I don't even to get a hotel. I just call and go. Yeah,
good.
right now I'm staying in Scotty's house. He's like, man, like come on over and don't even waste money on a hotel. I'll pick you up and let's go. And that to me is what this is all about, man. And we get to hang out together, go out to eat together. The other morning we were at War in the Woods. We're out there eating with Limpy and all that stuff. To me, it's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, and to go back to your thing, the point of like turning the media side of things into like a NFL broadcasting thing. Like, man, there's no reason we can't take it there, right? Like if and I see promoters working together and stuff, and I'm sure there are media people that work together, but the more we work together, the bigger and better this stuff gets. And I've told Jason from the start. So not to go, I won't. Jason's mentioned it before, so I think I can say this on camera. When I first came in with them and they were doing the NHRA stuff, they had obligations. They were filming some kind of TV show, or they wanted it to go to that. And I told them, and this is no disrespect to the people that are still doing it. We were just at the No Prep King stuff. Like, that's a TV show. Like, but man, that shit's old news, man. Like, YouTube is the future of
100%.
what people are, and
that's going to be TV.
100%. And again, not to get like into the tech side of stuff. I know that's not our, but like, man, we could do this shit to the level of what those people are doing. I mean, look at where we're sitting right now. Like this, it is not in the reach of some people, but this isn't far out of reach. And like, man, this is like, 20 years ago, this would be like going on to a nighttime talk show. Like, you couldn't do it. And now we can do that. Like, and we can bring that content from our pockets at the track. And like, that's an awesome thing. Of course. So the more we work together, the more that grows, like, and nobody will ever have to miss a race, or everyone will get the best, cinematic edit or whatever your flavor is. Like, you get to go to but we're all working together. There's no reason that, because Billy does it this way, that you can't do it that way, or have to do it a different, like, man, there's a lot of room in this world, in this scene.
Yeah.
Like,
no man is an island.
No, man, we're all in it together, and it's rad to see people connect. And I love connecting with you. Like, we talked the first time, like, I would love to work on a project with you. We I don't know if you remember,
we're working on a project right now together.
Yeah. But like, big picture, like, like, I would love to bring, we were kind of on board the same thing, like, visions that we have for the type of media. Like, I would love to get you were showing me a channel, I forget what it was, but it was beautiful, like cinematic rolling shots of cars. Like, they weren't drag cars, they were like street cars, but I'm like, man, I see that for the drag racing community, and like bringing inspiration from other scenes into this. Like, man, there's no limit to where we could take it. So it starts with this kind of stuff.
It starts like you pioneer something, and then the benefit always is as you see people progress around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at everybody and I want to like lift everybody to this. Let's say if I'm at this peak on a mountain, I want to lift everybody there, and encourage, because that's what it's about. Like, I've heard a lot of people say, like, man, like, while I'm sleeping, you're working, or whatever the case may be. But I'm like, but that's what the drive is all about. If you focus, like with YouTube, think about this, YouTube has given everyone a platform to have their own TV show.
Yeah.
Whatever that may look like, whether it's cooking, cleaning, car racing, skateboarding, anything. You name it. Like, they given that ability. So that's your channel. If you get consumed by the number aspect of it, then you're going to be depressed, put in the gutter, and think that everything is a fail, right? But when I go to these events and like that said, like that one handshake of somebody, or that guy to say, hey man, what's up, G2K? Like, that does it for you. Oh, 100%. Don't care what happens after.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm telling you one thing, like, God has humbled me in a bunch of moments and areas in my life. Speaking of one, like, it was a gangster's paradise. I was going over there all pumped up, the live, and then the cell towers crashed. Yeah, so there's no live, and I'm like thinking to myself, well, here we go. Well, what do? Life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I always say buy a bigger truck. So I made the best of it, and then it's like, man, when you have that desire that no matter what the outcomes is, you're going to make something out of it, you're unstoppable.
100%.
You know, and the drive is unstoppable. And I'm letting people know that it don't matter your age. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm not in my 20s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got kids. I got a family. I got a job. You know, we do everything normal. I just like to go out and film events on the weekends, and hopefully one day I'm racing. I got a little S10 truck there that I'm putting together.
Yeah, I would love. I know you're on a time crunch. You got to get on, but I would love to just to bring it all in. Like, you know, I feel like you've done an awesome job getting to show people, you know, who you are and why they should be supporting you if they're not, or if they already are. Like, you've done an awesome job at that. I've loved this conversation, but I would love to hear, you know, from media side and the racing side. I'm sure that's awesome. Like, well, what are your plans? You know, like let's start with the race stuff. You have a little truck, you said, like, you were racing, you know, back in the day in your scene in Florida. But it's been a minute, right? Like,
yeah, it's been a while, you know, and we, one of our race cars that we had, that's what we went all, you know, balls to the wall with the channel. You know, I sold the car and said, I'm just going to go balls to the wall. And I told my wife, well, you know, when we run out, we run out.
Yeah.
You know, I have like one sponsor that came on board, but I really never had sponsors, right? I've just been, you know, run and gun, buy a plane ticket, let's go have a vacation.
All
at this
out of pocket.
It's been 100% out of pocket. And then obviously, you know, I've been wanting to show some analytics on YouTube so people really see like that side of it before they go jump to conclusions. Like, you know, because they'll tell me, oh, you're doing all this stuff and doing all this stuff, and I'm telling you, dude, it's not what y'all think. One day I'm gonna pull the rug under that and show you what really it's about, man. But you know, I got this little truck. It's called Sleepy Joe. You know, it's a little S10. I used to have a Mustang and so forth, but again, like, how many people have a Mustang, right?
There's no void.
There's no lack of
car for sure.
Yeah, there's no lack of void there, right? There's no lack of void in racing. So I said to myself, you know, when the audience is ready to see me, and they want to see me, then maybe I give them something different. But until then, it's like if they say, hey, G2K, man, we love the fact you want to race, but, you know, these live streams, this is what we like, then I'm going to continue giving the audience what they like until that moment where I am seen as that individual, where then I could, you know, basically sprinkle some of what I love to do, which is, like I said, race and so forth. So my goal this year is eventually, before the year's end, is to take the little truck somewhere. Maybe it's Dig or Die, where it all started for me.
That'd be rad.
And just send it and see what happens. So, and I told him, I said, guys, don't worry about the live stream. Somebody will be live streaming. It'll be me inside the car. So I'm gonna grab the live stream, go to my pits, and when it's my turn to race, I'm gonna put it on the dashboard, and I'm just gonna race with the live in there.
I don't think anybody's doing that or done that, right?
But, you know, one of my friends, Lookout Racing, which he passed away, man, and shout outs to him, man. May he race in peace. And one time, anybody who's watching this, but Lookout was a big inspiration to my channel. Right. A lot of his followers are following the channel right now. So he used to do it out at Yellow Belly. Yeah. You know, and the reason why I went to Yellow Belly this year was of a promise I made him. Yeah. You know, I said, you know, one day I'll be there, brother, and we'll be hanging out and racing together. And during the chat, I would always call him out with my Mustang because he had a Mustang. So to me, you know, seeing that he would sometimes during his, I mean, the guy made magic, man, with test and tune nights at Yellow Belly, you know, and every once in a while he would go and race his car and put it on the dash and run it. So
that's rad.
He did something different.
What a cool thing for you to carry on with him and for him and to have been inspired to do that. But I think that would be rad to see, like, the person covering the thing, the event, and also racing. Yeah, I think people would love to see that.
Yeah, I think it'd be amazing. So we're gonna get it all right. I mean, I was excited that I put a video out of the truck, and I mean, it got a decent amount of views. Like, for me, like, I'm thinking, man, like, these are people that want to see me race. So eventually, that's what I'm gonna give them. And but I'm never gonna neglect the later. I'm always gonna have that on point. So that's what I told him. I said the live will be there. You know, I'll have somebody drive my truck. I don't know who's going to line me up. And that's another thing, making friends with all these racers and people and community. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have no shortness of health, bro.
I think
the support will be there. So I'm there to have fun and maybe put the truck around, put some shirts around it, and just know that I'm there, man. You know, that does it for me, brother.
That's awesome, man. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation.
I did too.
I'm not good, again, as a host. I'm not the best. I'm not good at the YouTube thing either, or being on this end of it. I don't know I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. I'm sure we're going to get awesome feedback. Like, but who do you guys want to see in this seat? Like, You know, again, from both of us, camera guys, like we appreciate your support, man. Like it means everything to us. We are, you know, a lot of people maybe wouldn't know this, but so I worked for Lil Wayne, you know, for a handful of years, and at the end of every show, he would say, you know, we did a whole tour. I ain't shit without you. Yeah. And in the words of my man, we are not shit without you. So we appreciate you. Please go like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things to G2K, and we will link, you know, somewhere in here. Man, what an awesome conversation. I appreciate you sitting down and stopping by and seeing us like on your way through and making it a priority, or maybe not priority, but a thing to get here, man.
Yeah,
like,
I wanted to come out and hang out and see Jason and see you guys and see what you guys have been up to, man. So the fact that this opened up, to me, it's amazing. I mean, it's godsend. And like Lil Wayne, you know, what he says, we have a motto on our channel. It's called Love God, Love Family, and Love Racing. And I think that if you keep those in that order, man, you'll be successful.
Can't go wrong.
Yep.
Man, what an awesome conversation. I appreciate
you, brother.
For the next time, I can't wait to carry on this conversation and 6 months, a year, like just to see the growth for both things. And
I agree.
We'll definitely chop it up again.
Perfect.
Let's get you to the airport.
Yep. Let's go.
Let's cut it.